Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Rick Jansen in Denver and Lee Jennings in Seattle. Welcome, Lee.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we were just reflecting on eXp Shareholder Summit General Session, which was yesterday, May 17th, 2021. And one of the exciting announcements was in Q3, we're going to be expanding into Panama, Germany, and Japan. And so Lee was just asking me before the show, like, what happens when we open a country? So I had a little bit of experience with that with Brazil. In that, I had an agent in Brazil that wanted to, I wanted to introduce DXP before I even knew we were going to Brazil. So I ended up getting Elisa Tawil on the phone with Michael Valdez and Megan Kelly, our president and director of global operations. And they explained how it was going to go down in Brazil because the compensation structure is different and local. All of the nuances of our company are highly localized. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that was unveiled yesterday is Global.Partners, which was just a fantastic site. Oh my gosh, that thing, it just blows my mind. All the local marketing from Mexico and Italy and Colombia, like just France, you can see how everything is tailored straight to Hong Kong, and the nuances of the marketing. But so what happens is, let's say, it's May right now, we're opening in Japan sometime in Q3, just like we opened up in Spain on Monday. And so what we'll do is if somebody wants to join in Japan, they reach out to you at 206-419-8303, call Lee, say, hey, I want to join eXp in Japan, or I want to see what the business model is going to be like. We'll connect you to global operations, right, before we are even open there. And oftentimes we will hit the country, we'll hit the ground running with a number of agents already kind of on board, ready to rock and roll. They've tweaked the system. There aren't formal presentations yet. They might not be in the My eXp world, the Sponsors Without Borders. But what ended up happening for Elisa is they're like, hey, you're such a rock star. We actually need to hire you at corporate. And she got brought on as the director of growth and development for Brazil, carving out the fact that she can still build her own revenue share group.
Okay.
Right? So we might have, some rock star brokerage over there with 40, 100, 200 agents, or we might just have a superstar agent that's selling 100 million yen in real estate. And we say, hey, let's bring you on, but they may end up taking a leadership role in developing that country too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the great thing about eXp is, like, I see a lot of people doing those kinds of things where they have two different roles, or they're able to build a revenue share group, really no matter what, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's kind of hard for people. That is something like on the franchise level that's really abstract for people, though. I explain that all the time. I'm like, they're like, well, how do I recruit in all 50 states? And I'm like, well, let me break this down for you. But it's really, really hard for people to understand that you can recruit someone and not directly work with them, like on a daily, like on a granular level. It's very abstract for people.
So here's something really cool. Because you attended the General Summit yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to post a summary in the comments right now. I did a 25-minute summary of the whole general session. But one of the things that I was so excited about yesterday was something called the Hub. And this is going to be an eXp world. And this is something Trin and I were saying was necessary just like a couple of days ago on the is eXp good for a new agent show. But they've introduced now, eXp Corporate has introduced the Hub with state-by-state guides on how to onboard somebody, how to license up, how to acclimate to all the local nuances of every local state, right? So you can be in Oklahoma and sponsor someone in Alaska and say, hey, I vouch for you. You should come on board. You should check out eXp. And here's the cool thing. The person in Alaska couldn't be further away. You can say, hey, let's go to the Alaska State Room together. Let's go and see how you should get your license, where you need to hang it. Let's talk to your state broker. They're right here. Let's go into the Alaska room. And folks, I know this is the fastest way to 150K, and we talk about real estate sales all the time, but so many powerful tools were unveiled yesterday at Shareholder Summit. I think we just need to talk about it this show.
Yeah, no, it's important stuff, because that's the thing I think, and we were talking about this, actually myself and a couple of other people from Libertas, but I was saying I think that eXp would even be growing faster if the facilitation of the process of getting your license moved over to eXp was easier. And I think they're they're trying to make that happen.
Yeah, they're taking great strides to improve everything. And the Net Promoter Score is really what drives everything at EXP. And the Net Promoter Score is, they survey agents all the time. How happy are you? Where can we improve? Are you likely to recommend EXP to a friend? They do a Net Promoter Score on the staff. So to make sure the 1,100 staff, blows my mind, by the way. When I joined, we had maybe like 400. Now we have 1,100 staff serving 54,000 agents globally, brought on 11,000 agents in Q1. So think about that. If 11,000 agents looked at this business model and thought it was better than where they were,
right?
What are they seeing that you're not seeing?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, but here's something else that was cool too. The reveal has probably been there for a while, but I didn't know about it. The reveal of the big team closing and negotiations groups, right?
Yeah.
So if a big team or a big brokerage, because more and more big teams and big brokerages are wanting to come over, right? Like huge groups, hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, 100 agents, 200 agents. So now we have a whole growth and closing team to help onboard big groups that are coming on board. So here you are, brand new agent, right? Brand new agent, but you have a cousin or an uncle or a friend or somebody that you introduce them to EXP, but you're brand new. You don't know EXP. You don't know the behind the scenes. You don't know all the tools. You don't know the benefits. You don't know the financial structure. You coordinate a call with our big group closing team, right? Our negotiation team. They will take over for you. They will talk to Tom, Dick, or Harry for you. They'll talk to Susie and Jose. They'll talk to anybody. You bring them in. They will negotiate the deal, close the deal, set them up, onboard them, and that entire group will go in your revenue share group, creating passive residual income for you, supported by, trained by, managed by, marketed by EXP.
Right. And that's the thing that I've explained that to people, a lot of people over the last few weeks. And it's just like, it's almost like it's too good to be true. They're like, well, but that's impossible. And I'm like, no, it's actually really possible because I'm seeing people doing it and doing it, all over the world. And like, I mean, not just in the US, but all over the world. And it's like, it's totally possible. And they're making it easier, to do that every day. And in our group, I mean, in Libertas, we help people do it. And then EXP helps people do it on a bigger level as well. So it's like, it's fully doable.
Absolutely. I mean, they were talking about onboarding. They were talking about, like yesterday, and Michael Valdez was talking about onboarding a 200-person team in India.
Mm-hmm.
That 200-person team is in someone's revenue share group. Why is it in yours?
Right. Oh, exactly. And I think there's this misconception that like you have to manage them or you have to be, all these things. And it's like, no, it's really kind of the opposite. You have to make the introduction and then other people will do all the heavy lifting for you, and then you really get the benefit of having them in your revenue share group, and also just kind of the goodwill of helping them better themselves.
Yeah.
So
the 200-person brokerage came over. They said the reason was because EXP was built for humanity. Mm-hmm. And Ismael Gonzalez was talking about EXP Mexico. He said, look, this helps the whole community. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just help the agent. It helps the family. It helps the community. It uplifts everybody.
Right.
And that is really seen more globally than it is seen domestically in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And the lift that comes from this business model, not only to the agent, but to the family, to the neighborhood, the lift that comes from empowering people to be entrepreneurs, the lift that comes from being able to dream again. Like, let's say you just come over because like you're one of 80% of the agents that they just knows in your heart and soul. Like once you get behind the technology, and folks, all you have to do is fill out an application, not binding. We'll introduce you to all the tech and the behind the scenes of EXP so you can make an informed decision. Mm-hmm. But let's say you filled out an application, you've done the whole tech tour, you see how amazing this is, and you're one of the 80% of agents that never recruits, right? Or recruits 1 in 3 years, right? So you come on board and you just think, hey, I'm going to be like that guy who came over doing 9 million, doubled every year, and is now doing 200 million a year in sales. I just want to be that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Or the mom of who works 20 hours a week but has the support of the marketing center. All the stories that were told yesterday. But you have the dream, right? So let's say you're at a franchise, you're at an independent broker, you're on your own. There's no dream. You're just transactional.
Right.
But let's say you move over here to be purely transactional. That's okay. in the back of your mind, 5 years from now, if you hang out, you're going to run across somebody who does want to join EXP, and that someone knows somebody, and that knows somebody, and all of a sudden, bam, 100 agents drop into your revenue share group in France. Like that can happen here, even as a dream where it can't even happen. There's no possibility of that happening anywhere else.
Right, exactly. And that's something that it's almost like I almost wish that they like to the public, they could do more like open case study type things, because I think it's just so abstract for people, but it's super powerful.
Yeah, there was another agent that came over, as the story was told, doubled his production in year 1, quadrupled his production in year 2. And the reason they did so, again, the fastest way to 150K, folks, collaboration, international best practices taught to you on a daily basis.
Right. And
double and quadruple your business. Where else can you do that?
Well, and there's
your local market center leader, that's for sure.
That's one thing that I've been telling people is like there's this culture of sharing knowledge that like it's almost like being in a giant coaching program, because there isn't this adversarial, idea that I'm going to hoard all my good ideas and I'm going to like only tell certain people how I do my business or how I grow my business or how I do lead gen or whatever. It's like this open, it's kind of like this open thing where everybody wants to help everybody else, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
So
I think we introduced something like 150 new courses recently, like 75 new trainers.
Yeah. And that's one of the misconceptions is like EXP, because it's virtual or it's like, it's a cloud-based brokerage, that you're like somehow getting less training. And it's actually the opposite. It's probably the strongest, educationally, it's probably the strongest brokerage out there,
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't think anyone else can really compete with the infrastructure they're putting in place to make that possible.
Yeah, some firms out there have a legacy sort of impression in people's minds that, I need to go there for the training, get it for a year or two, and then leave.
Right.
It's not good training if you have to leave in a year or two to actually produce. Right. You come here, get hundreds of hours of free training. You come to Libertas to get coaching from Sean Kokoska and Tim and Julie Harris. You get, the training here blows the doors off of the training anywhere else. And here's how like expansive EXP is. EXP commercial is now going into that. So we had like over 8,000 people already registered for the July training event for how to get a commercial real estate certification. We're assigning mentors, people who've done 50 million a year, to newbies so they can learn how to do commercial real estate. We're introducing standardized forms. And James Hwang and Dave Kennord were talking about how people wish they'd been there at the beginning with Glenn and seen that EXP was the answer, and it was the perfect storm with foreclosures happening, going virtual. This is the perfect storm right now for commercial, because retail is fleeing, grocery stores are fleeing, offices are fleeing, everybody's COVID'd out, all these office buildings are vacant, and your niche in commercial could be completely blown up.
Yeah.
But you can come in here, and EXP already has had $400 million in referrals from residential agents to commercial agents within our family, separate companies under one EXPI umbrella. We've had over $400 million worth of referrals from residential to commercial, which doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, no, that's like unheard of, I think, in that industry, really.
Yeah, so, completely. Yeah. And then the training, we're putting in place, we're not even trying, we are going to put in place all of the training that we have for residential into commercial, so that we are the biggest educational firm for commercial you've ever seen.
Well, and I can't tell you how many times I hear people say to me, like, I want to get into commercial, but I don't know how. They just, it's like, there's this sort of veil that's pulled over that side of the business, and they just don't have an idea of how to break into it or how to even get started. So
no, it has this reputation of being the old boys club, and unless you're 80 years old and you went to college with somebody that built a building, you're not going to get a deal. That's just not true anymore, right? Yeah. And it doesn't matter your race or your gender, your background, your country, your origin, your affiliation, your gender, whatever. Like, you can do commercial, and you can come to EXP, learn commercial, have a certified mentor, get on board, learn to do it. And it's amazing, right? And you can call either one of us Lee at 206-419-8303, me at 303-589-2320. You can call either one of us. Get hooked up with commercial, get hooked up with global. Global is translating all of our training into, it's like 7 different languages, 12 different dialects, going in local with the local nuance, with the local flavor. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I figured that this year, just with all the growth and everything that's happened over the last year, like it would be a pretty incredible summit, and that's clearly what's happening.
Yeah. So, folks, I just want to encourage you, if you want to break through the 100K barrier, or you want to break through the 150K barrier, reach out to one of us right now. We'll help you through the application. It's not binding. No one will know. Your franchise won't know. Your independent broker won't know. If you own the independent brokerage, your team won't know. If you're a team leader, they won't know. Like, just talk to us in the background, right? Just get a conversation going. Look at what the transition would look like. Let us analyze your business plan. Let us analyze your past year's sales. Show you what's possible here. Show you the growth. Show you the opportunity. We'll give you 2 weeks of free training at eXp University. We'll hook you up with coaching with Tim and Julie. We'll personally be there for you every step of the way. Guys, jump off. Like, if you put a toe in the water or jump off the high dive, either way. But the fastest way to 150K and beyond to 200 million in sales is definitely with eXp.
Yeah, I would say, especially if like what I'm noticing is if you have a big group, or if you're sort of tired of managing a bigger group of agents and you're looking for a soft landing, there's nothing else like it, really, I think. I mean, if you've got a group of agents and you're tired of dealing with hassles and compliance and all these things, that you can offload all of that and really just benefit from being part of eXp.
Being a broker makes you broker. Stop being broke.
There you go.
All right. Hey, tomorrow we can talk about our REO division, our relocation division, our national transaction coordinator stuff, all of that was unveiled.
Yeah.
Bam. I mean, we want leads, REO, relo, global, residential, commercial.
Yeah.
Come on, go make 150K. All right, I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.